Well, there are certainly some movies out there that are fucking fantastic and worth a watch through many, 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 many times. They transport us to some incredible places and let us experience things that fucking we could never imagine and are super amazing and epic in every sense of the word. And it makes you just love fucking movies so much more. See, we're so inundated with bullshit movies in the modern era that we forget to take a step back and remember some movies that were just so fantastical, just so special, and just so amazing that you could watch them over and over and over and over again, and probably will over and over and over and over again. And while there's plenty of movies to talk to that fit this description, there's one movie in particular that I feel is often forgotten about, often shelved for the most common of classical movies in the utmost respect. And giving that holy shit, 2005 was fucking just 15, 18, almost 20 years ago? God, everyone's getting old. This movie still holds up plenty today. I am, of course, talking about the 2005 movie King Kong, uh, brought to us by the magical mind of the one and only Sir Peter Jackson himself. This movie is absolutely fucking unbelievable. Jack Black gives a career defining performance. And the fun doesn't end there as you get embroiled in these 1930s stylized life and story that kind of skyballs into something so spectacular and unbelievable. Just every ounce of this movie from the get go is full of incredible moments. It has an actually very, very likable female lead, and it has some pretty great characters that just blend and mesh so fantastically together. Straight up, not any movie is absolutely perfect, and this movie does have things that draw it back, but the blend of how amazing it is and how great it looks, and pretty much all the great, interesting story elements to it, blend it together to make it truly special. It really is. Watching this movie as a first time viewing would be great because of how interesting the story is, but after watching it over and over again, you find little elements you like. Plus, I'm pretty sure recently I just watched the extended version that gave me all kinds of niceties along the way. There's a raw sense of adventure here that's captured perfectly along the way, and you really feel like you're part of this endeavor that they're on. What it does is basically tell the Kong story perfectly modernized and quite fantastically, if now. Now I know that there's all kinds of old King Kong this and King Kong that and everything, but in my mind, this is pretty much in defining of what Kong is and King Kong is. I'm sure there's lots of fans of the older movies, but this is a perfect wrap up for modern audiences. Portrayal of the local savages is downright offensive in today's modern audience, and I don't know how it got made back then, let alone today, but really sign of the times, if you know what I mean. The special effects are amazing, even today. Although you can tell they're quite dated, it's similar to Lord of the Rings and other movies of this caliber. It's really not enough badness here to detract from the overall experience. Whether drunk, high, both, or in great company, this movie is sure to give you a great, great, great experience here, there, and everywhere as all the amazing things start and elements piece together. It's a fantastic adventure scene with just incredible set pieces, one scene after another. Every chance you look away, it's just pure eye candy, and especially the island parts are just incredible. It's awesome how they did it. It all looks so prehistoric and real, and yeah, they did a fantastic job of making this movie look this way, and even translated it into a fairly good game because as you can tell, any gamers watching this can tell that this is a very gameable movie. Kong himself is a character that we like in this, even though he's a CGI monstrosity, but he's quite beautiful, and you go to actually seem to like Kong, although there's a quite awkward romance type relationship between her and him and the main female lead. But I think that it's Adrian Brody who always stands out in everything he's in. He's beautiful in this, and he's a fantastic, perfect person for such a movie. Is there a deep message here about consumerism destroying nature and nature fighting back? Possibly. I don't really look at those things. Sometimes I look at them, sometimes I don't, but mostly I just take a movie at face value, and this is an entertaining adventure thoroughly. In an era of garbage movies, when you look back and you see all the creativity that went into this, particularly one like to notice is the creatures of Skull Island. Is that Skull Island creatures are almost like a twisted version of prehistoric Earth, and I think that that's a very interesting idea on how it kind of is real, but kind of seems almost fantastical and unbelievable. And I'd be willing to bet at least a few people walked out of the theaters or puked in the aisles out a whole bunch of popcorn when they came across the fucking goddamn bug part. Holy fuck, the bug part still to this day gives me the creeps, and those giant weddas or grasshoppers, those still give me the creeps, although I'm an avid bug and creepy crawlies person. It just goes to show the creativity they had to really make something truly fantastical and unbelievably crazy like this. And I think that exemplifies Jackson's vision so clearly on these pictures is that he could have truly made something just cookie cutter, just basic, just like the Lord of the Rings. They could have made something just so meh, but it turned out to, like Lord of the Rings, turned out to be something just much, much, much more high quality and entertaining than some of these movies that people come up with sometimes. Like that Godzilla remake. It's just, it's so uh, uninspired, and sometimes they try and make these movies, and it just doesn't hit on all the marks. But this movie is one of those ones where you can see that it is perfectly made, it perfectly captures the source material and provides a very, very entertaining experience for years to come. I mean, you kind of have those movies that are good to rewatch, movies you'll never rewatch, and movies you wish you never watched. This falls into the upper echelon of the character of this movie. It could, if I was to give it a rating, solid 9.5. It's a great movie, hard to be perfect, but I would give this movie, it's high up there on the rating scale, and it's 100% recommended to watch. I love it. And it's even entertaining to this day. Today's world, there's so many remakes, remasters, recreations, taking an old idea and making it new. But I think sometimes when you take these types of stories and you tell them really, 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 really well, I think that makes all the difference, because you could easily have just put something together, but when you put your own ideas into something and make it incredible, I mean, fucking Jackson did it again. And if you look at the timeline when he was working on this, he had just come off the riding the high of the fucking Lord of the Rings, and he just blasts this. That's the sign of true creative talent. Someone who can consistently make something new, exciting, and interesting.